Have you ever been sitting in your gazebo, just looking around, enjoying the view, and realizing, we should probably get back to work? Well, I think that's what we should do. I've loved that we did this gazebo because it's so bright and cheery to come in here, just look around. Now, there's still a lot to improve over here, but that's going to be a future project. Today, what I want to start looking at is we've been starting to introduce like a fishing hut, a little bakery. We've got the sand and moss and gravel shop. We've got the timber shop. Well, I think it's time that we introduce one more building into this area. And as you can see, I've started to, put up some dirt walls. One of my favorite things to do is to start being able to visualize where this building might go. So the idea behind this is it would be our blacksmith shop. So here would be kind of a building. Maybe there's a door in here. Maybe there's a patio here. I can't tell if I want doors there or just a central one. And then this one is to kind of represent some kind of smelter. I don't know, like blacksmiths always have some kind of big chimney furnace thing. I don't know what it's called. I am not a blacksmith, but that is exactly what I'd love to put here is kind of that. Maybe there's some kind of a roof on here. Yeah, I think that's good. So now what I'm really just looking at is how good do the sight lines look? So the idea is that you're in this area, be a building here, some kind of a roof, and some kind of a chimney. I think that's pretty good. Now I wanted to put it a little bit closer to where I want a tree later, but this road is kind of weird. So I think what we'll probably do is get the building in, and then I'll probably move this tree over, which will be nice because then we could maybe do some kind of a little park or benches or some kind of detail around here. But I think that's enough talking. I'm just rambling because I don't know if I have quite figured this out in my head. But let's get some of the structure in. Maybe let's do the building first, and then I think we'll do the chimney and then the roof. So let's get the building in and see how this thing is shaping out. So I started building and realized I never showed y'all what color palette we were going to use. So this one I don't know is going to bring in a lot of color. I think being a blacksmith, it should be maybe a little boring because it's going to get dirty and gross. So really we're going to go from kind of the deep slate all the way up to the stone bricks. And then bringing in some of that spruce and obviously copper. I love copper. I don't know why, but I think it's because it has so many different colors when you really look at it, that it really works in a lot of scenarios. So with those being applied, I've started looking at what our structure is going to look like. Now, this is a little bit strange, but my idea is that I didn't want to go real thick on the walls because I didn't want this to get too heavy, but I like the idea of having some kind of bracing, like maybe this is a heavier structure. And so we put some supports here. And that'll kind of be where the roof line is, or at least where I'm imagining that it's going to come through all the way across. And then those will be windows. So kind of like an upstairs like we did with that one. I wanted it upstairs, except for this one's maybe a little bigger. I just want that one to be kind of like there's a little bit of a room up there, but nothing too big. So the next thing I was actually looking at when I brought you back in is I wanted to check and see how good these sight lines are. As you know, I'm all about sight lines, and I think this one is going to work out so good because we've got that. You can see there's going to be a tree here, and this brings us right down to the river. I think we've gotten now pretty much all the way down to the river from our barn. Oh, even that little house over there, all the way along here, and this is going to finish us out, and then obviously we can do the little bridge over to Tobe's place. But I think that sight line is going to work pretty well, especially once this is closed in. It's going to make a nice little area for you to come up, see the building, see what's over in the foreground, be able to come up in here, see this little industrial area. And then as you turn around, I think that's about going to be just right, where you'll get enough of the city, some of the tree, but then this will entice you to come in. That's over there. Yep, okay. I bet he probably didn't care that much, but that's how much I really think about the sightlines and how I move through here. So you'll probably get sick of me saying sightlines, but let's do it one more time. Yep, we also have this one coming around. Works pretty well. There's going to be something right here. They'll either draw you up or you can go back across the bridge. Okay, that's enough about sightlines. Let's keep building. Get this thing up. Now, I think I've got at least the basic shape here. I've got to figure out the roof. I know I want to do the roof kind of out of copper, give it that green aspect because this is kind of dark. A chimney is going to be kind of boring as well. So I think we're going to use the copper kind of as a flat roof, keeping with the flat roof theme that's kind of going on in this area. Want to create a flat roof here and up there. I don't know if I have enough copper. I'm going to have to go check that. So maybe before I do the copper, let's get this chimney up. Is that what we're calling it? Yeah, let me get the chimney up, see if that's looking good. And then I think we can get the roof in. Well, I don't know about this. It looked so much better in my head. I can't tell if I'm liking this or not. The idea is that it's kind of got a chunky base and goes up. I didn't want this to get too tall because this area is not really big, huge buildings. And so I was trying to base it a little off of that. I don't know. I might be just thrown off. Oh, it's getting dark. I might be thrown off because of this face, but I didn't really want to decorate that too much because I'm trying to think about the roof line going in. But I can't tell if this is working out or not. You know what? There's only one way of doing it, and I think that's going to be to just put on the roof and see what it looks like. Because I don't mind it from back here. I think the sculpting and the texturing worked out pretty well. So it might be okay once we get the roof on. I think the roof is really going to start pulling the two sides together. So let's keep pushing through. Let's get that roof on and see if we're at least headed in a better direction here. Well, the roof took a little finagling, but I think we're getting there. Now, I know this is going to be a little bit on the crazy side just because there's so much copper, but I really wanted to make sure that this kind of felt grungy, but brought in some of the color that we're trying to have in our city. So that's why I decided to kind of do the two kinds of copper. Like it's kind of rusted out in some areas, it's all the way oxidized in others. And I think that is getting there. Now, I don't have enough copper yet again. It seems like I keep doing these projects, but I'm going to need a whole lot more copper. So we might be going back over to the copper hopper. But I think that is kind of the roof I'm looking for. It's going to give us just enough color. And then once we start putting some of the spruce in there, I think that's going to add just another bit of color. And as you can see, I dug out the ground. So this way we can kind of continue on the pathway here. So it'll look like one continuous spot. So that's going to work for that. We've got a dark roof going in. I like the idea of the roof being dark. Now that I look at this, I might have to do something with that transition. That's okay. We can do that. But I'm going to fly over to the copper hopper and I got to get a lot more copper. Okay, now that we've got the roof on, I'm just going around checking to see if there's anywhere that we didn't get waxed. I think we got it all. So that's going to work out because this won't change. That's exactly what I wanted. And as you can see, I added an extra little detail to the bottom portion. Now up here, it might look a little strange. I maybe need to do something with this roof to make it a little more exciting. I don't know, we'll see. But from down here, I really wanted this to not just be kind of a stripe of green. And I think this little bit of extra detail just helps it stand out. Makes it feel like a little bit different roof where it's not just a stripe of green. We've got some kind of layering going on. And I think that's going to work. Now, I still need to figure out the floor, which won't be too hard. I think this will just continue on. We'll have to figure out the path eventually that goes over to Toe Block's house. But I think it's time to get the floor in. We need to still get the fire pit figured out. I'm not sure what's going to go in there just yet. And I got to figure out what I do here on the back side. Now, I'm trying to figure out, do I put another dock over here? Maybe not one that's high like that. It's probably got to be lower where the boats can come in, unload the ore. Oh, that gives me an idea. Maybe that's so kind of what I do here, is maybe there is a boat that drops off the ore and the ore gets stacked up here, gets processed. I don't know, maybe it's stored in there, maybe it's stored out here. All right, we got some details to figure out. So I'm going to start working on that, get it figured out, and I've also got to get the floor in there. Wow, okay, I thought I was almost wrapped up, but we still have a few things to do, so let's get busy. All right, and as we're working over there, I realized I could do some decoration by getting a bunch of blocks that I haven't ever done really anything with. I don't know if we'll use these, but let's grab a few. Oh man, I don't have as many of the gold as I thought, but I think this could be pretty cool. I started a little area over here, and let's see. Oh, gave you a little sneak peek. We got a dock in. I guess I should jump over here, show you. We don't quite have it anchored to the ground just yet, but the idea is that as boats came in, they could stop here, unload. Let's go swim up here. We might put some, I don't know, barrels or something to make it look a little more interesting here. But then I started looking at putting iron blocks. So now I'm wondering, are these ones going to look good? I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, I think we could do that. Now some of these, maybe we have to scatter them out a little bit. Perfect. And then as I was building out this, I realized there's a whole area over here and potentially an area here. I don't know if I want to mess this up. We might keep it, I don't know. Because I think I'm going to have kind of a bigger tree here just to kind of block this weird sightline. So I don't know, I'm going to stick a few more of these in. Maybe we'll go with the gold over on this side. Now it looks like most of this one's going to be deep slate. Now, whenever I do these, it really just becomes kind of random. I don't want this to get too busy. Yeah, why not? And then we'll stick one up here to make it a little bit taller. We'll add a few more in here. Great. Now, we're going to cheat a little bit. We're going to steal this one out of here and stick it right there. So that's a really easy way. If you're trying to decorate and you have a blacksmith, just stick some of the ores that you needed, and it gives you a pretty cool way to decorate it, but look like maybe they're really doing something in here. So I'm loving that. I think that is really starting to round out. I've also started putting some decorations. I don't know what goes here. I've got to figure that out. I want some people in here working. So maybe there's a guy over here working at the stone cutter, couldn't think of the name. We've got some anvils. Maybe we're going to put some, I don't know, axes up here. We'll do something. Those are details I want to figure out because as you see, if we come back here, this area is really wide open. It looks like nobody's here. So we've got the forklift here, which I think adds some personality, but I need some personality here. And as I've talked about, I think I'm going to do that kind of as a separate little mini series because across our whole city, we kind of have that same problem. We've got so many cool buildings in, we've got a few animals, but there aren't a lot of people. So watch for that series to come out. But I think to kind of round out at least the environment portion of this, let's put up a tree here, put up a tree there, and why not? Let's get this pathway in. Oh, I've got another tree there. 3 big trees. I don't know if I want to do 3 of them. But, you know, if we could get this whole rest of the side finished out, that would be great. So let me do that. Let's get this pathway in, the bridge over to Tobes, 3 big trees, and then we'll call it an episode. Okay, and through the magic of video editing, we got a tree in. Well, not just one tree, we got 2 other trees in here. And holy cow, that was a lot of work, but I think it really adds to this area. Now, if you think about previously, kind of this sightline before when you came up, went all the way over to Tobe's house, it went all the way over to the mountain. So what I really love now is this kind of gives us a little bit of a boundary, helps our eye to see that this whole area is really just one enclosed space. And what's really cool is as you kind of go through here, you start seeing it opening up. You see the mountain. I don't know if we'll ever get anything over there, but then you come over and there's Tobe's place. I still think there's some opportunity for something here. Like I might just decorate it, but as you can see, we got the bridge in. So that's all good. Leads over to Tobe's. This leads back up to the city. And then we got this view. I think this is actually a pretty cool view too, is coming up the river and seeing this just sitting on the river. Now, we don't take boats very often out to any place, but I think this view is looking pretty cool as we look what we did here. Coming around the side, seeing some of the other builds that we have, this place is really taking shape. Now, some of the last sightlines I've been looking at is kind of this one of the river. That looks pretty good. I love how the trees don't quite connect. We've got the industrial area, but when you get here, this doesn't feel quite like an industrial area because we do have some of that nature. We wrap around to the other buildings, but then you can come up here and fill all the industrial area. So I think that's pretty good. Now I've started adding a few details here on the inside, some shelves, some blast furnaces, regular furnaces. We obviously did kind of the ores out here, anvils, some random stuff, but I need to decorate that out a little bit more. But y'all, that is going to do it for this episode. I think we tackled a pretty big project here, and I love how this really rounds out this area. So I think this area is now good. It's time to move over to some of our other projects. But until the next episode, we'll talk to you soon.